Hello and welcome to the Comics Atlas. This is the series in which we talk about the complete history of comic book characters. Today is Friday for Thor, a god who is still confused about his relationships with his lover and his father. Will he betray his oath and renounce his powers, or will he remain loyal to Asgard? Let's jump on the Bifrost and get amused. So it all begins with people in the streets of New York fighting over who's stronger, Hulk or Thor. We have a flashback of an Avengers issue where indeed both heroes clash. It was during Avengers number 3 when the recently formed allies fought against the Green Monster and Namor the Submariner. In the middle of the fight, sensing the extraordinary strength of Bruce Banner, Thor asked Odin, his almighty father, for an exception to the course of his hammer. He is granted 5 minutes to fight without turning back into Donald Blake in between, but without the mystical forces of his weapon. It is the battle of the century for the Norse god. Never had he faced such a formidable opponent on planet Earth. But it's not to have a definite victor. As the hammer recovers its powers, the Hulk vanishes, teaching Thor a thing or two about humility. The next story occurs in the pages of Journey into Mystery number 113. It's the return of one of the greatest villains in all of the history of fiction, the Great Gargoyle. Yeah, the one who got beaten by base form Donald Blake. Anyway, after some gorgeous pages of Asgardian action, Thor makes his way to Earth and to his beloved Jane Foster. Donald Blake is stupid enough or horny enough to reveal finally his secret identity to Jane. But if he thought Odin would simply allow him to, he's crazy. He's stripped of all his powers and unable to show his transformation to the Norse, who believe him to be mad. While the Doctor fails to become God, the Great Gargoyle lives again after being fished from the bottom of the river. He attacks the building of our protagonist and a high-speed chase starts. After getting trapped, it seems Blake is finished when a lending hand allows his power to return. In 2 pages, Thor finishes the Great Gargoyle and rescues Jane. What of that hand? It was Honir the Hunter sent by Odin to help his son. Even in the moments of disillusionment with Thor, the leader of Asgard can't forsake him. The Absorbing Man will be next on the menu for Thor. They don't pay well enough to come with actual inspiring names, do they? The blonde god faces a mortal man on Earth, a fight which Loki is closely following. Despite his meddling, it's still an easy win for Thor, prompting the god of mischief to ponder his next move. He puts his eyes on a convict, one Crusher Creel, granting him the ability to absorb any substance and the power of any being he's around. He quickly breaks from jail, arousing the attention of both local reporters and Thor himself. When the Asgardian reaches the escapee, he's surprised by his might and the way one of his blows can neutralize the stroke of the enchanted hammer. After hours of battle, Balder the Brave intervenes, pointing out that Loki has once again made a prisoner of Foster. Taking his friend back to their homeland, our hero knows he must strike Loki in his own stronghold to save his mistress. If that's the scene on the mythical plane, on our planet the Absorbing Man is left alone to roam the countryside. It's time for the gods to clash. Enchanted Sword versus Enchanted Hammer. They both fight with incredible fury. Sorcery makes the playing field somehow fair for Loki, but Thor is no easy pickings. It all explodes and Odin intervenes to stop his sons from destroying more stuff. Watching the blonde one holding the woman, Odin condemns him to go through the trial of the gods. But it'll have to wait, for Thor still has a fight on Earth. With Thor away, Creel made himself comfortable at the house of a suburban couple, but discreet he's not. Both the Asgardian and the police finding him in no time. Once again there's a clash with the Absorbing Man, with the criminal flexing his absorption powers. In the end he cannot cope with Thor's ultra overpowered hammer, forcing him to turn into helium and blow away. No Jane is safe, Creel is gone, and Donald is ready to face the trial of the gods. The Tales of Asgard return now with a change of focus. It was already Thor's time to shine. Now we will learn about the boyhood of Loki. In a very young Asgard, Odin came to clash with the king of the giants in Jotunheim, Loki. A battle that rattles the whole land of Jotunheim begins, with Odin having a hard time against his fellow king. The hordes of giants can stare and watch, heading face on against the valiant Asgardian. After a long time, it's clear the giants must retreat, but Loki refuses, choosing death over dishonor. In the aftermath of the battle, a kid is rescued. Odin proclaims the child was the son of Loki, but now he is his own. An Asgardian called Loki. Sometime later, Thor and Loki, now brothers, watch a joust. An excited Thor predicts the winner and Loki intervenes to prove him wrong. They're caught by guards but let go. The future god of mischief watches with jealousy as every single Asgardian seems to bow down to his brother and pledges to one day get rid of him and reign over his adoptive land. Now we have a different type of tale, one that doesn't involve any of the gods we know, seemingly a folklore tale. Don't burn me if it's another Marvel invention. Hakon the Hunter salutes the passing goddess Iduna. She's destined to deliver the golden apples of immortality to Odin. But Fenris, the wolf god, blinded by greed, turns into human form and tries to steal the apples. However, Hakon reappears, throwing his axe to the wolf god. At first he escapes, but the axe follows him, slashing through infinity and sending his target to Beringheim, shadowing land of the lost at the end of the cosmos. Now free, both the hunter and the goddess can deliver their cargo to the Almighty Father. Back to a still young Thor, who is now in front of an attack on storm giants. A jealous Loki decided to make his brother fail, saving Gan, powerful giant, from certain death, thus forming his first alliance of evil for his future power plays against Asgard. You know, I've been complaining about Thor villains being weak idiots who always do the same. In this case, I've got to complain about the opposite. The absorbing man is an idiot who is too strong. And it makes Loki look even worse. If he has the ability to give such a simpleton unimaginable powers, why can't he just keep a man away from a cane for 1 minute? There is no balance on this man. Here, hoping we stop reading about human villains in this comic. At least the Trial of the Gods seems interesting, and the battle with the Hulk was okay, but I'm subtracting point for it being kind of a reprint. The Tales of Asgard really came back swinging this time around. The origin of Loki is Asgardian greatness, as good as it can get. It somehow explains the evilness inside of Loki, the disgraced royal son of an enemy forced to live in a citadel of gods who are completely different to him. It's also refreshing to read independent stories like the ones about Iduna and Hakon. Makes you remember there's still a huge world full of characters and stories that are still untouched. This week, these segments were a plus. Anyway guys, that's it for today. Don't forget to leave your like, share and subscribe down below. You can also check my other playlist on heroes such as Spider-Man and Daredevil. This is the Comics Atlas, and I wish you all a happy new year and a nice existence.